Can you try and make me look more attractive when I eat? I'm such an ugly eater.
I mean, there's not much we can do about that, mate.
Ugly eater, but beautiful human being. Beautiful, tasty, delicious chicken wings. These are going to be the best chicken wings you've ever tried, and that's going to be because of Rockbox and a few clever little techniques we're going to use along the way as well. These are actually a kind of form of buffalo wings, which originated in Buffalo. Buffaloes don't actually have wings, obviously. That'd be mental. They're served with a very hot sauce, Frank's hot sauce. Now, they're a super simple recipe, but they do need a bit of forward planning, because we're going to leave the chickens overnight in a dry rub. And that dry rub is going to remove all the moisture from the skin, and that's going to allow them to go so crispy that you're going to think they've been deep fried, even though they haven't been. Okay, so let's start with the wings. Chicken wings are split into two different parts. We've got the wingette, or the flat, and this side here is called the drumette. Okay, so if you feel in between the wingette and the drumette, you can feel a little knuckle, and if you go in there with your knife, it will just slide through nice and easily. So we'll just do all the others as well, so easy as pie. Right, we're just going to pop these in here, because now before we go into our dry rub, it's very important we lose any moisture that is on the wings currently, okay? So we're going to pat these dry, bit of kitchen roll. We'll start with the wingettes, they're nice and dry, and now we're going to roll them in our dry rub. So our dry rub is going to be made up of plain flour, table salt, and baking powder. Okay, just give that a little mix up. You can just do that with your fingers. Give them a little toss in the dry mix. Shake off any excess. You don't want them covered and caked in the flour, just want a little thin coating, and just pop them on a cooling rack. Okay, so now we're on to the drumettes, and these are a bit bigger. So this is another point where we can really utilise the kind of heat differential between the front and the back of Rockbox. So when we cook these, we're going to do the wingettes at the front and the drumettes at the back. So they all cook evenly, all cook in the same time. Chicken wings are on a cooling rack, and that's so the air can circulate underneath as well, okay? So we've got the salt in there that's removing the moisture, we've got the flour, we've got the baking powder. All those things are going to allow that skin to crisp up as though they've been deep fried, okay? So once you're on your rack, nice and dry, these are going to sit in the fridge overnight, okay? Uncovered, don't cover them. We want that air circulating round. That's what's going to aid our crispiness, okay? So pop these in the fridge and then get ready for the next day. So these chicken wings have been in the fridge overnight, uncovered, covered in their dry rub, and now they've started to go this kind of dry skin on the outside, and this is what is going to crisp up. This is what's going to taste like it's deep fried. They're going to be amazing. So we're just going to leave those kind of 10 minutes or so at room temperature, and we're going to get on with the other accompaniments, okay? So blue cheese sauce, very common with the buffalo wings. It's what it's served with traditionally. We're going to start with some sour cream, a little bit of buttermilk, and some blue cheese. So you can use any blue cheese you like. We've gone with Gorgonzola here because it's a bit softer, a bit squishier. And you're literally just going to work these with your spoon, fold them over, squash them down. So check your seasoning on your blue cheese sauce, but you'll probably find you won't need a lot because the cheese is so salty anyway. Any more salt and it just gets a bit too full on. Okay, so now it's time to make the hot sauce. Once we've cooked the chicken wings, we're then going to roll them in this sauce while it's still warm. So you're going to have crispy skin, then you're going to have buttery, hot, gooey stickiness on the outside. It's going to be amazing, okay? And this is simple. This is two things. This is simply butter and hot sauce. Just grab yourself a pan, chuck in the hot sauce. We're using Frank's hot sauce here, and just unsalted butter. And we're just going to stick that on a hob just to kind of combine and come together. You could do this in Rockbox if you wanted, but at the minute we've got Rockbox on a really hot flame because we're waiting to crisp up our chicken wings. And just leave that to do its thing. It's not going to take too long, probably about 4 or 5 minutes or so. And in the meantime, we can start getting our chicken wings on. Our wingettes are beautifully dry on the outside. Our drumettes are beautifully dry as well. Pop the pan into Rockbox. We don't need it smoking hot. We just need a bit of warmth on there. And we don't need any oil here. Right, so our pan is hot, but it's not smoking hot. And we're going to put the drumettes towards the back of the pan. And then our wingettes are just kind of going to go at the other side. Straight over to a Rockbox and in you go. So we're doing these in a preheated Rockbox that's very, very hot on the highest possible flame, okay? And they're going to be about 5 minutes or so. So normally these would be being deep fried and they'd be crisping up from the hot oil. But what we've got here is because we've dried the skin so much with our flour, salt and baking powder mix, we've got little air pockets forming underneath the fat, and that's what's going to give us our crispy skin. Starting to get some colour and crispiness on the drumettes at the back, so just give them a little rotate. And you can see the wingettes haven't got any colour yet because they're at that cooler part of Rockbox. So that's a really good thing to be able to utilise, that slight difference in heat between the front and back of Rockbox. So back in we go. In the meantime, our sauce is done now. It's so shiny. See my face in it. drumettes at the back now are really starting to crisp up nicely. You can feel that. That is amazing. That feels like deep fried chicken. So we're just giving it a little swap around with the wingettes. You can see the little air bubbles and pockets that are forming. And back in again. Okay, so now our wingettes are taking on a beautiful colour, and they are so crispy. You can flick them and you can feel how crispy they are. So a little rotate on those as well. Do watch out for the air pockets on the fat that have given you that crispy skin, because they can pop occasionally and they can be very hot. So back in, another couple of mins. And all in all, we've been cooking those about 4 or 5 minutes, and that's what's going to retain our moisture, is that quick cook time. Okay, so these are crispy, crispy, crispy wings. So a little rotate in the pan just to make sure they're all evenly cooked, make sure you're happy with them. Now we're going to roll them. So we're going to roll them in this buttery hot sauce. This is the magic. Grab your wing, straight into the hot sauce, buttery hot sauce, and then onto your plate ready for serving. You can see how shiny it is, and we're putting this sauce on warm because it's going to cling. It's going to cling to that crispy skin. So you're going to be the best of both worlds. You're going to have crispy skin, you're going to have succulent buttery outside, it's going to be sticky as well. So I always do all the wingettes first and then go back for the drumettes. Just again, you know, these guys are cooked, those guys, they're going to benefit from a little bit longer in there. Okay, so we've negated the need for a fryer by leaving these overnight in their flour and baking soda and salt. We then cook them super, super fast in a super hot Rockbox, which has retained all that moisture in the middle, so they're super juicy. So yeah, next time it's Super Bowl Sunday, or any day of the week, actually, any day, do them like this. Leave the fryer alone, fire up Rockbox, and do your buffalo wings like this, because they're so good. So good, it's me. I'm not wearing any trousers under this apron. No trousers, no pants. All the guys around here filming, no trousers, no pants. That's how we roll. It's too hot for clothes. You're lucky I've got a shirt on.